Chapter 10. The Final Echo. The last threshold emanated a presence Calderon could feel coursing through his marrow. This was the culmination of his journey, the moment where he would defy his past and define his future. The air shimmered with the tension of possibility, brimming with every note yet to be played, every choice waiting to unfold. With each step, the unity within him grew, the violin at his side humming faintly as if anticipating what lay ahead. The path ended abruptly, opening into the final chamber. It was a paradox, offering boundless horizons confined within the intimacy of a single moment. The ground beneath Calderon's feet seemed to materialize with each step, as if created by his very presence. When he paused, it held him tenderly, compressed yet yielding, like the steady hands of a trusted partner. Above him the sky was no mere expanse, but a living canvas, painted with strokes of crimson and violet that shifted in harmony with the rhythm of his heartbeat. Each pulse sent ripples of color across the space, as though the atmosphere itself conformed to his life force. Even the air seemed to exist only because he breathed it, its scent not a mere fragrance, but an extension of his being. Every element in the chamber, from the faint whisper of wind to the palpitations beneath his feet, felt inseparable from him, a seamless reflection of his presence. In that moment, Calderon understood the labyrinth was not apart from him. It was him. At the chamber's center, the floor extended toward an unbroken horizon where the edges seemed to vanish into nothingness. Its boundary felt simultaneously distant and within reach, and it pulled Calderon forward with its undeniable sense of belonging. It wasn't the horizon's beauty that captivated him. It was its familiarity, as though it had been the backdrop to every step of his journey, unseen yet always present, like a long-lost friend finally found. "You stand at the precipice," a voice said, resonating from everywhere and nowhere. It was neither stern nor gentle, but carried a weight of finality, a weight that seemed to press down on Calderon's shoulders, making each breath a conscious effort. Calderon paused, his eyes narrowing as he turned and scanned the space. "Who are you?" "I am the echo of all you have been," the voice replied, "a reflection of your past actions and decisions, and the silence of all you might become, the potential for change and growth that lies within you, waiting to be realized." The words reverberated through Calderon, stirring something deep and unspoken. He turned back to the horizon, its fervor mirroring his longing. "Every step you have taken has brought you here," the voice continued. "You have faced the shadows of your past, embraced the discord of your being, and opened your heart to harmony. Yet one question remains." The horizon flickered, and the floor beneath Calderon was tremulous. Reflections from his life began to form on its surface, each one distinct. These were not the same as he had faced before, but moments he had long buried, times when his choices had been shaped by the expectations and desires of others. First he saw himself as a teenager seated in a dimly lit practice room. His father stood over him, the sharp angles of his figure reflected in the polished wood of the violin Calderon clutched. "Play it again," his father's voice commanded, harsh and unrelenting. Calderon obeyed, his hands trembling as he dragged the bow across the strings. The notes were flawless, technically impeccable, but they felt pointless even to his ears. He wasn't playing for himself, he was playing to meet the impossible standard of another's vision. The room blurred, the scene dissolving into the horizon. Next, Calderon stood at a conservatory audition, surrounded by other hopefuls. His instructor hovered nearby, whispering advice that felt more like a directive. Don't stand out too much. Play it safe. Let them see you as reliable. Calderon followed the guidance, choosing a piece he knew he could perform perfectly. Still, as he played, the panel of judges appeared unmoved. His bow moved precisely, but his music lacked the fire of his spirit, reduced to a mechanical performance shaped by fear of rejection. The horizon shifted again, revealing an older Calderon at a lavish event. He was dressed impeccably, a violin tucked under his arm as he mingled with patrons and benefactors. A colleague leaned in, smiling with polished charm. Play what they want to hear, she whispered. Something familiar, something they'll applaud without thinking. Calderon nodded, swallowing his discomfort, and performed a crowd-pleasing piece that drew polite applause. Yet as the clapping subsided, he felt the emptiness of the moment, his music a mere echo of others' desires rather than an expression of his own. The images faded, the horizon returning to its original state. Will you live as the echo of others? The voice asked, its question hanging in the air like a heavy fog. Or will you become the melody of yourself? The question landed like a weight on Calderon's chest. He felt its truth. The labyrinth was a mirror to encounter his reality. It was not a physical structure, but a metaphor for his journey, asking him to understand his path and to claim it. He stepped forward, raising the violin to his shoulder. The clouds on the horizon pulsed in time with his breath, waiting. Calderon closed his eyes, drawing the bow across the strings. He played each note, a reflection of everything he had learned. The raw sorrow of his shadow, the aching beauty of the heart, the pain and agony that had forged his harmony. The melody grew richer and fuller as Calderon let the music flow freely, no longer restrained by doubt or fear. The horizon began to respond, its light intensifying with each note, filling the chamber with a warmth that was neither heat nor light, but something felt deeply that reached the core of his being. The floor beneath him shifted, the reflections blending into the melody, their forms deliquescing into waves of color and movement. As Calderon played, he felt the music shift. It was no longer just his own, the echoes of every chamber and every choice merging into a symphony of being. The horizon began to descend, its glow softening as it came to rest on a pedestal that had risen from the floor. Its light faded, revealing its proper form, a mirror polished and clear, its surface reflecting the whole of Calderon himself. For the first time, Calderon saw himself fully. He was not the boy striving to please, the man paralyzed by fear, or the shadow he had feared to confront. He saw himself as he was, complete, perfect, and undeniably whole. The voice spoke again, quieter now, as if from within him. This was never a test. It is the music of your being, played anew with every choice you make. You have claimed it as your own. Now carry it into the world. The mirror disintegrated, its reflection lingering in Calderon's mind even as the chamber around him began to fade. The walls melted into soft light, the floor becoming mist, and before he could question it, Calderon found himself back in his apartment. The violin was still in his hands, but everything felt different. The weight in his chest had lifted, replaced by something far-reaching and light. The faint hum of the labyrinth was gone. Still, Calderon could feel its melody within him, subtle, constant, and entirely his. He raised the violin once more, drawing the bow across its strings. The emerging notes replete, vibrant, and cognizant, echoing all he had embraced. The music was perfect in its honesty. It was his. Calderon played for himself, for the journey that had brought him here, and for the life he would now live with open eyes and an open heart. The labyrinth's lessons would remain with him as the music of his being, a melody that would guide him forward. And as the final note lingered in the air, Calderon smiled, knowing that the echo of his life was no longer a reflection of others, but the sound of his true self rising.